Hello guys, Absolute Duelist here coming at you with another One Piece video in OP04.5. Ban list is now legal guys, and we are in an entirely new format. So we're going to be playing this game. This is going to be Doflamingo versus Rebecca, and honestly guys, I like this Doflamingo deck. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really cool. It's definitely very similar to Trafalgar Law as well, which is something that I really like, even though I can't be playing Trafalgar Law for the upcoming Liverpool Regionals. This is pretty much what I'm testing to take to the Liverpool Regionals. So I'm quite happy to be able to be playing this Doflamingo list. I've been testing it, really enjoying it, and I'm still making some changes to it, but this is what I've taken to locals this week, the first locals of the format, and we're going to see how this game is going to go against Rebecca. So I am going first. Sadly, we want to go second, really, because of it. Our curve is going second because it allows us to use a lot of stuff, but we went ahead and used the Bonifesta, and also added the Nami to the hand, which we want to realistically be able to play and use the ability. But we're going to go ahead and swing 8 with the leader there, swinging straight into his life, and he does choose to take it. But just a heads up guys, we do actually realize something. He didn't draw on one of his turns. I believe it was the first turn he forgot to draw a card, and we do go into a bit about that where we were like, oh wait, you shouldn't have that many cards in your hand, because he goes ahead and uses this Rebecca ability here, but he took a life last turn, so he should have technically been on 8 cards in hand when he put, well, 7 after he played the Doflamingo. So just a little thing we figured out there, and it's just like we're going to the discussion now being like, wait, how did you use the Rebecca ability when you should have been on like 7 cards in hand due to maths? But we did work it out. We were like, okay, there's not really anything we can do at this point. We don't know where you missed it, and you've already used the Rebecca ability to go ahead and add stuff, so we're just going to continue on from here. But it was a little unfortunate, because that is kind of in the Rebecca player's favor, because it allows him to trash more cards into his get more into his trash, to essentially allow him to fill up his trash even faster, to use like King Kong gun and stuff. But it's fine. It's like mistakes happen, right? So we go ahead and swing 6 into life. He does choose to go ahead and 2k counter that. We play the Nami, going ahead and looking at the top 3 to go ahead and add that 7-drop Luffy to hand. Reason we didn't play it going into the second turn was because when we're playing this card, we want to go ahead and use this ability to search, so I don't really like to play it otherwise. But he's going to go ahead and play a Subbo here now, the Rebecca player, drawing 2 cards and trashing a True Bastardo. And what else will he be trashing? 2 Truno Bastardos. Okay, that's interesting, because he could have gone ahead and used that to go ahead and kill the Nami. So it's kind of interesting to see that he didn't do that and preferred the Subbo on board. But he goes ahead and uses the leader ability. Went ahead and grabbed, I believe it was Bartolomeo. Now it's our turn, going on to 7 Don. So we're on 7. We can go ahead and swing with that Nami to go ahead and get a search, but is that really worth it? But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do it, but it looks like we're not using the ability, and he does choose to go ahead and 2k counter that. He goes ahead and counters the swing for the Doflamingo leader as well. Another interesting choice, when he could have gone ahead and blocked with the Subbo, but we go ahead and drop the Luffy and an Uta here as well, just essentially building up our board, right? We want to have the Uta because it can go ahead and potentially rest both the Subbo and the Doflamingo. And we also want to go ahead and have the Luffy because it's just a big swing and a blocker. And we also went ahead and restanded 2 Don, because that's what our leader does at the end of our turn. We get to go ahead and restand 2 Don. And I'm going to be honest guys, in a lot of these games you'll notice that I may forget it sometimes, and I'm like, oh, middle someone's turn, wait, these 2 should be active. But yeah, we just go ahead and correct it most of the time. So he goes ahead and red rocks our 7-drop Luffy. Very strong there, because it does deal with one of our good cards, right? It gets rid of the big blocker there. But he goes ahead and plays Rebecca, went ahead and added, I think it was IDO, if I saw correctly. And then we're going to restand all of our cards. So let's go ahead and see where we go from here. We're on our 9 Don turn. So what would we like to do with the 9 Don? We're going to go ahead and swing 5 into life, adding a Guild Tessero. That's a very good card to add there. We could go ahead and slap that down, giving us an ability to draw 2 cards, which is always going to be very nice. Then we're going to go ahead and swing 8 into his life. He does go ahead and take it, and then we go ahead and rest 5 to play the Guild Tessero. And then at the end of our turn, we should be unresting 2. We do go ahead and make sure it's unrested though, and then we continue on from there. So what's the Rebecca player's plan here? Honestly, I think he has to deal with the Guild Tessero, because if he just leaves it there, it's going to be a problem. So he does play the Olympus. Will he go ahead and use it to decrease the Guild Tessero? So he does use it to decrease, and he chooses to decrease the Guild Tessero, meaning that he's probably going to drop like a Leo or something to go ahead and kill it, and he plays a Kyros, which does deal with the Guild Tessero. And honestly, the Rebecca player is having a kind of a hard game this match, just because he hasn't seen his Guild Corridor Colosseum. So he's been having problems being able to swing this game properly. But let's go ahead and see where this is going to go. He's going to put 2 onto the blocker Doffy, And we're going to go ahead and block with Uta, neg a Don, and rest the Olympus there. And we have to go ahead and trash, otherwise we're going to lose the Uta. So what we're going to counter with to keep it alive, we're going to go ahead and use the Thunder Bugua there. Okay, interesting that I did use it there. It's probably because we're going to be on 10 Don next turn regardless, so it doesn't really matter if we use it. So understandable why. But the Rebecca player's turn, he has 1 Don left. What is he going to do with that last Don? Is he going to... I don't think he's used the Rebecca ability. Did he use it? I'm not too sure. But anyway, he passes turn. We're on our 10 Don turn now. He does have his Doflamingo blocker rested, and he's got the Olympus rested. But we're going to have to kill the Olympus. Like, I feel like that is just a priority. So it looks like we're going to swing 7 into Olympus, most likely. And we're going to add a Guild Tessero again. That's pretty good, right? And he's going to go ahead and block and 2k counter. Then we're going to do a quick bit of maths, I think, here, just to make sure that we can get the right number of Don. We're going to swing another 7, probably into that Guild Tessero. Don't want that thing on the board. Like, sorry, not Guild Tessero, Olympus, because it's just going to give him free resources. Then we go ahead and play another Guild Tessero. Very good for us, and we unrest 2 Don while passing turn. So he does well, I realized that his cards should be unrested because he didn't unrest them, so I just, make sure that that's done. And let's see how this is going to go. So he's going to rest 7. He's going to play the gear for Luffy there. Very strong card to have on the board right now. Definitely, if he had the Corridor Colosseum, he'd be in a very good position as well with that card, but sadly he just doesn't. And he's going to go ahead and swing 6. We go ahead and rest the Uta, resting the Sabo, and then Punk Gibson, basically resting his entire board, and then he plays an Ideo. Okay, so we've basically got the board online. We've got the Guild Tessero, which will allow us to draw 2 cards. Like, we are in a very favorable position right now. So we're going to rest 2 to go ahead and play a Sugar, which is going to go ahead and rest the Ideo there. Very good for us. We're going to go ahead and swing 8 into the Sabo, drawing 2 by negging 2 Don. Then what are we going to do after that? We're going to go ahead and put 2 onto the Festa to go ahead and kill the Ideo, dealing with the blockers on his board. But I think we're just going into a cleanup phase now, because it is that we do hit points in games where it's just like, okay, we need to clean up the board a bit, otherwise we're going to be in a very bad position. So I think that's where we are right now. We're just cleaning up, making sure it's in a good position for us. So we went ahead and swung, got a Buena Festa with the Nami, and then we swing 5 into life as well, most likely. So he goes ahead and counters the 5 though. We have 2 Don up. Should have restanded that Robin Don there. Sadly, we didn't. But honestly, it doesn't really matter because we don't play any 1-cost events. Like, they're not really necessary for our gameplay. But that's something I need to learn while playing this deck as well. Just to remember, always at the end of my turn, restand that Don. Because when I'm playing on the sim, it does it automatically. So I'm just sitting there most of the time like, oh, okay, yep, this Don will just restand itself. I don't need to care. But he's going to go ahead and swing 9 into Guild Tessero. We go ahead and use the Punk Gibson, resting the Kyros to go ahead and keep our Guild Tessero alive, putting it up to 10. And then the Luffy's going to go ahead and put back 7 to the bottom of deck to restand itself. Okay, so he's putting those 7, no, that's 6, now it's 7 to the bottom. Probably going to organize him a bit, see how he wants to go, basically have the next 7 cards at the bottom of his deck. And then he restands. Now, will he choose to swing again? So he does choose to swing again for the next phase. He swings into the Guild again. So will we protect the Guild? I think we do, just because the fact that this is our value engine. This is going to give us draws, and we do choose to drop 3 cards to keep the Guild alive as well. So that's very useful. But he's going to go ahead and play another Sabo, draw 2, trash 2. Trashing a Monkey D. Luffy. And we also have to mandatorily use the Sugar ability, because that just has to happen, so we rest the Sabo. But he's going to trash 2 Monkey D. Luffys. Okay, that's pretty good for him. I think my tripod's also slowly been going down this game. Yeah, I got a new tripod as well, guys, just to try and make it easier for us to record. So, yeah, that's something new for the channel, guys, that I try to keep, just to make sure that you guys are getting good content. So we go ahead and use the Nami ability there, adding an Uta. And he's on free life. So am I going to go into more board clear up, or are we just going to swing? So we swing 6 into the Sabo. Does he choose to let the Sabo die? He chooses to block. Then we swing 6 more into the Sabo again, most likely, to draw 2 cards by negging 2 Don. Like, our hand is just absolutely massive at this point. He chooses to 2k counter. Okay, interesting. Now, will we go ahead and just slap a ton of Don on things then? So we swing 6 with the Uta now. And then we're going to rest... How much was that? 7? to go ahead and get rid of the sugar and that to play the Luffy. Probably, oh sorry, to play the Luffy and the Uta, but that's probably because we know the Luffy's just frozen for the turn, so it's good for us. But he's going to go ahead and use the leader ability, go ahead and grab, I think that was a Gaiat's, I'm not too sure though, but he's going to go ahead and use the Luffy ability to restand himself, maybe just do a massive swing into something on the board, but no matter what he swings into, we can just block with the Uta or the Luffy. So we are in a pretty good position. I'll probably block with the Uta as well, just because the Uta can go ahead and rest that Kyros as well if he does swing with the Luffy first. So let's go ahead and see what he does. Will he go ahead and swing into... what will he swing into? So it puts, I think that's 4 Don onto the Luffy. No, that's 5. But we do rest the Kyros and get rid of a Dom with the Uta. And then he passes turn after that. Accidentally put down 3 Don there when we shouldn't have. But let's go ahead and see. He's on 3 life, so we could realistically just go for game now because he's on 2 cards in hand. But I think we need to play like the controlled game a bit. So we're going to swing for 5 into life. He does choose to take it. We get that lovely chopper to hand with the Nami ability. Will we go ahead and swing more? So we put 2 onto lead, swing 7 into life. He does choose to take that as well. I think that right now we just swing 7s. Yep, we swing 7 with the guild again, negging 2 to draw 2. Okay, he does counter this one. And then we're left with how many Don? 5? I think we're left with 5. So right now it's interesting where we're could go with this. Because we could just swing into life, but we're swinging 7 into the life, and he does choose to counter that. So at this point, we're going to rest 5, and we're going to play a queen. Okay. Go ahead and trash that 10 drop, because at this point we're never going to get the ability to use it anyway, because we're on 8 Don now every turn, because we've gone ahead and negged 1 for the Uta, 1 for the Queen, and then 2 for the Guild Tessero. So we probably aren't going to hit the number that we want to hit to be able to utilize it. But he's going to use the Luffy ability here, restanding everything. In all honesty, I don't think there is a way for the Rebecca player to win now, because he's on 1 life. We have a full board. He can get rid of maybe 2 things at most. And my hand is just stacked, but there's the Gorodok Colosseum right there, and also the King Kong gun. Both would have been very useful if he saw them a lot sooner, but sadly he did not. But let's go ahead and see what he's going to do, seeing as he does have that big swing with the Luffy. So he's going to go ahead and put, I think that's 6 Don onto the Luffy, King Kong gun it as well. Maybe do some swings into my life. I do choose to just take it. We go ahead and use the Thunder Bugger off a trigger to go ahead and get that. And then he just passes, realizing that I'm just going to block with my leader or block with the Queen. And I think we just swing for game here. Look at the top 5. And then we just go mass 5k, 7k for game. Yeah, so that was the game, guys. Like, that was an interesting match. Like, Rebecca, sadly, if you don't see the Corridor Colosseum, you're just going to have a very hard time, especially against a deck like Doffy, where we progressively get more and more advantage, keeping able to swing bigger and bigger into life. So that was a very interesting game where it's like seeing Rebecca on the bottom end, but still being able to fight back to some degree. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy that match. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next round of locals on the channel. Later all.